Hello and welcome, everyone. Thank you for being patient with us while Michael went and changed his shirt for 2 minutes.
I didn't know if we were going to trick people or not. You told everybody.
I told everyone that we were going to just go right into it, and you took too long. You're like a
I
teenage
didn't
girl
know if we
getting
were
ready
going to
for
do. I
prom.
didn't know how it would look on YouTube. Tell them what we're talking about.
Anyways. This episode of the Culture Nerd Podcast, number 11. Let's talk about Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill. Are they actually done at DC? Is there still hope? Let's discuss it because apparently there's some stuff to talk about here. So let's talk about it. Hello again.
Hi, Taylor. Hello again. You look beautiful.
It's been so long.
It's been so long. You look so nice. Now, question. Do you have the picture of Ben Affleck passed out on the boat? Because that tickled me.
I will get it.
It tickles
Ben
me
Affleck.
to no end to know that man is now married and settled down and happy that he can fall asleep on boats like that. He is living the best life.
Yeah. There it is. Found it. I love the internet. I just typed in Ben Affleck yacht, and then they're like, this picture? Yes, 100% this picture.
People, there's a meme of him where they cut it in with the Radiohead album where it says the Benz. Oh, just tickles me every time.
I think the best part of the fact that this image exists is the context that he obviously got married to J-Lo. Like, they got engaged 18 years ago and finally tied the knot. That's fun.
Bennifer's back, baby. Bennifer's
back, and it's like committed this time. But I think the best part was when this picture dropped right before, like just a few days earlier, right? Everyone kind of just assumed. Yeah, no, because TMZ, I found this one on Just Jared just because I want to throw that out there. It is, to me, so I made a tweet about this. So the next day, after the day, like, I don't remember the exact day of it. Like, say Monday, this photo came out, and then Tuesday, Jason Momoa blew up the internet by announcing that apparently a Warner Brothers tour had spotted him and Ben filming on set, and they were like, "Crap, the jig is up. Let's just announce it." He just threw pictures of him and Ben and Jason all over the the internet, just being like, "He's here. He's in Aquaman 2. What's up?"
Yeah.
And that's the funniest part about it was that I pointed out to a lot of people that photo is 100% like The Dark Knight. Batman asleep on his yacht, and then less than 24 hours later, he's halfway across the country in a city dressed up like a bat fighting crime.
He's Batman. He just is
Ben
kind
Affleck
of like a
is
Batman.
Like, there's no way around it. Ben Affleck is Batman. Like,
so when
as a human being, that's who he is now.
Were there any rumors of Batman being in Aquaman 2, or was it like
the funniest thing about it? And I will say this, and I will take the L on this one because one of my contacts sent me a text like a week ago saying, "I just heard Ben is coming back for Aquaman 2. It sounds like bullshit to me. I just wanted to share it with you to get a laugh," and I thought it was fucking hilarious. I was like, "That's not true. He's not coming back. They've already filmed the scenes with Keaton." And then Jason posts this photo, and we're like, "Oh no, it's real. It's happening." And I felt like an idiot for not saying anything about it because I was like, I heard about it, and then it happened, and I could have. I don't know. There's a part of me like I could have gotten the clout from having this right, but I didn't.
No, this is.
So whatever.
I'm going to let you know that this is the best thing you've ever done. We specifically said we're not in the scoop business anymore. Yeah. I will say this though. You have just confirmed to me that picture is real and is very real. You know what I mean? Yeah. Well, I don't know. Sometimes stuff like that happens and it's like, oh, maybe he's doing another thing, but that's Batman clothes. Did you see that black suit? That's what Batman wears because his parents died and he has no soul
that's
anymore.
Even the Ben. That's the Bruce Wayne wig that has the widow's peak on it. That's not Ben's hair. That's the wig.
Ben's hair. Look at the boat. That's what Ben's hair looks like. That's Industrial Light and Magic, baby. That's what you can do with. That's what Ben looks like.
That's Bruce Wayne.
That's Bruce Wayne. Yo, it's so crazy that Bruce Wayne is just Brad Pitt. Like, I know Brad Pitt doesn't want to be Batman, but that's a very Brad Pitt looking face.
Yeah. No. Oh my God. It's so funny. And I laughed so hard about it. Cause like, I kind of teased it on the Instagram. Like I was at work and I doodled a picture of Batman on my desk. I'm like, if the announcement's happening, it's happening today. And I doodled it. I'm like, look, it's Batman. And like then like 20 minutes later, the announcement happened, and I'm like, wow, that was pretty prophetic. I was pretty good at that. Like because I heard it was going to happen, it was going to be announced, and I was just like, I was kind of just teasing it. It's like one of those things that scoopers do when they tease a picture and just like let it sit. I doodled a Batman on my desk at work and just kind of let it sit there. I'm like, if someone sees it as me teasing the future, then cool. If it's not, then it's not. And I was fully prepared to it not being exactly what happened. And when it happened, I was like, wow, the timing was good. But that was the reality of it. It was weirdly perfect timing.
Well, and in talking and in our multiple conversations with the information that you have shared with me, doesn't this not make all of the Ben Affleck Bat fans just light their torches again? Because like, if they're bringing him back to do something like this, they obviously are keeping the character alive.
Yeah.
So like very clearly that's the case. We just talked about, on the last episode, we just talked about all these movies and the teases of, oh, Daredevil's going to be in all these shows now. It's like, well, if Batman's going to show up for 2 seconds for this, they're probably setting him up to be more Batman.
Right. So, and this is kind of where I'm going to throw this up because I think people need to hear it. Spoiler alert, because it's going to be a lot of spoilers happening right now.
Spoiler alert!
So before we jump into the Ben stuff, let's talk about the Henry stuff. So prior to Comic-Con, the rumor came that Henry was going to show up at Comic-Con and announce he was coming back to fight Black Adam. Right? Comic-Con came. He wasn't there. Oh no, the world's over. He didn't show up. Dwayne Johnson's a liar. Variety, Deadline, they're all liars, blah, blah, blah. The internet went into rage mode and they booed Dwayne on stage. Right? Then the next day, rumors came out that were seemingly later confirmed a few days ago that Henry Cavill had caught COVID and production for The Witcher had shut down.
Yes.
So he was supposed to video conference in or be present, and then he got sick. And that was why people were like, oh, maybe that's why he didn't show up.
That's 100% why he didn't show up, correct?
Right. So from what I understand, I've heard this from 2 different sources. Either A, Henry is done, he's never coming back, and Warner Brothers is just gaslighting the crap out of fans.
Which could very well be true. They could very well want all of you Zack Snyder kids to keep shelling your money for these movies because maybe they show up for 2 seconds. Maybe.
Right. Or B, Henry Cavill got his new contract. He's going to show up in Black Adam. He's going to show up in the sequel where they fight and punch each other in the face. And that contract that Henry had been after for all of these years was quite literally that he would have first look at the scripts that were presented to him. He wasn't going to show up unless he agreed to it. Simple as that. He's not going to do the Nick Fury thing where they're like, hey, Nick, we need you in this movie. Show up for 2 seconds. It's, hey, Henry, do you want to be in this movie? I want to see the script first. Is it worth my time? No? Then I'm not being in this movie. Like, that's what he wants.
He likes being Superman.
He loves being Superman.
He really likes it, and he hasn't had the chance to be the Superman he wants yet, I feel like.
He wants the Superman that Zack had set up at the end of Justice League. Sure. And he's like, I want that Superman. I want Superman as a dad. I want Superman with a kid. I want to be Superman who's worthy of being Superman. Because now that he's gone through that arc that he did in the first 3 movies, he's ready to be Superman. He is the character that we are now ready to have as Superman. The world doesn't hate him. They want him.
Am I right? Was the Superman from the 2000s, that Superman Returns, wasn't that also about Superman almost becoming a dad?
Oh, it was 100% about him becoming a dad.
Yeah.
Because that was also the movie where Superman knocks up Lois, uses the Force of Solitude to make her forget that he knocked her up, left the planet for 5 years, comes back and has a kindergartner, and some other dad is raising this kid.
That movie's so batshit crazy. I can't even. I remember not liking that movie, and I remember like the fight on the boat, and the kid pushes the piano. I can't, and the scene where he fights the airplane, he saves an airplane.
Yeah,
I can't. That's all I remember.
I've always felt this, and I know people will argue with me on this, but I don't care. I liked Superman Returns for what it was.
Sure.
As an epilogue to the Christopher Reeves movie. It's way better than Superman 3 and Superman 4. That's all I cared about. Yeah. That it's nowhere good as the first 2, but it's way better than the second 2. And to me, it gave us a proper ending for that story arc. So cool. I liked it. I'm good with that. Did it deserve a sequel? It could have been fun, but did it not take any risks? Didn't take any risks.
Took no risk. And it's so funny that you link it to the 70s movies, because my problem with that movie is Superman doesn't punch anything in it. Like, it's just talking and Lex Luthering and stuff like that, which was very true of those older movies.
Yeah.
Funny enough, when the pendulum swung the other way and Superman and General Zod 9/11 that place and ruined all the things that we had to deal with the outcomes of it, I also didn't like that movie. So I don't know what I want out of Superman.
No, you don't know what you want, because I loved that movie, and I loved it because it took risks. Superman Returns took no risk. Man of Steel took too many risks.
His dad goes, hey, don't let me die. Let me die in this hurricane over here. No, thank you.
But no,
thank you.
To me, that was a beautiful scene, because his dad did not believe that he was ready for the world to see him. So he trusted that his son would do the right thing and not save him. And Clark loved his dad enough to let him make that decision for himself.
Forced that lady to become a single mother and to deal with the death of him. That is a terrible thing for him to choose.
But it's also at the same time, it would have not been worse if he saved him and then he got outed as an alien and their lives got upheaved too. Like,
your lives are going to be upheaved
no matter what.
You show them you're an alien. He is an
sucks
alien.
No matter what.
Absolutely. But it sucks harder when your dad's not there to help you. Listen, I have abandonment issues, okay? I'm going to let you know that a dad around is much better than a dad dead next to a Ford Taurus.
Hey, which one of us was adopted, and which one of us is just mad that his dad left him after high school and then came back a few years later?
We have
which one of us?
Different issues.
Exactly. It's a different issue. You can't relate. Move on.
What are Henry Cavill's other commitments? What is his commitment to The Witcher? Because I know that's a very long contract.
Oh, it's a very long contract.
And does he have any more commitments to Tom Cruise? Does he have to go back and okay? No,
he's died in that movie. Spoilers, but he died in that movie. He's not coming back.
You know what's funny is I remember all of the middle fight scenes of those movies. I can't remember the end of any of them. I remember he was in a helicopter
and like jet fluid like burned half his face off. He had this really cool Two-Face impression, and then he fell off the cliff in the helicopter and died in the wreckage.
I confuse that movie all the time with the James Bond movie where he fights Batista. Like, I'm like,
oh yeah,
didn't they fight in a train? And wasn't there? It's like, no, that's James Bond.
There was my only issue with that Mission Impossible movie was just that Tom Cruise tried to play off that he didn't know how to fly a helicopter in that scene.
I know.
And I'm like watching it. I'm like, Tom, we know you're flying this.
Yeah.
And we also know that your character is a super spy. We know you should fly this too. Don't play dumb. Just play it cool. I will accept it.
100%. He's been able to do every other thing, but he doesn't know how to do a tactical helicopter.
Yeah. I was like, okay. My suspension of disbelief failed right then because I know that Tom Cruise is actually flying this. So why doesn't Ethan Hunt know how to?
I bet Tom Cruise actually knows how to fly a helicopter. Like,
no, he did. He actually flew that helicopter. That was the thing, that he actually did those stunts.
Dumb.
So that's why I was annoyed. I'm like, I know that you did this. Stop pretending that you can't. Like,
so where in the world is Carmen Sandiego, aka Henry Cavill? What other?
So right now he is filming The Witcher, which was on hold because he got sick. And the reason that we know that there was some evidence to that rumor was because he posted a video of himself a couple of days ago on his Instagram of him fixing his computer at his house in London.
I saw that picture, and the computer. The computer was ripped. Was all the guts were out. I'm like, that's not an overnight project. So he has time.
He's clearly in quarantine fixing stuff because he's bored. So I was like, okay, so maybe the rumors are true because he's at home now. Like, he's not in the middle of middle of European forest, some location. He's at home fixing his computer. So maybe he did have COVID. Maybe they did shut down production. Maybe he should have shown up at Comic-Con. Whatever. But now, I firmly believe, I'm choosing to believe that the new management is not going to gaslight fans the way that they are, the way that the previous management was, solely because of what happened today with Batgirl. So we will talk about that in a minute. But I believe the new management does want Henry back, and that's why I choose to believe that they're trying to get him back. And the only commitment that Henry has is The Witcher, and I'm sure that if Henry got the deal that he wanted, which I'm assuming Warner Brothers Discovery will give him, they will make it work. So I don't see for a second that, Dwayne Johnson shot himself in the foot at Comic-Con where he said, depending on what Superman I fight, depends on if the fight's going to be me or him winning, like whatever he said, right? And then the audience boos at him. And then a couple days later, he says, "Oh, I was talking about the scene from Super Pets, because at the end of Super Pets, Superman and Black Adam face off. Maybe I'm fighting John in this one." And like maybe, and he tried to play it off like his Comic-Con comments were about the Super Pets movie, which we all know was him trying to save face because he wasn't allowed to talk about Henry. And then following Comic-Con, he had an interview with Comic Book, and they asked him flat out, like, "What's your thoughts on Henry?" And he basically is like, "I love Henry. He's the best. I want him to be Superman. He should be Superman, and I hope it works out." And he basically was like, I hope he wins," because the way he sounded like was like, "I hope he wins the argument to get his new contract."
So Marvel Man in the chat just wrote good promo. And when we're talking promos, we're talking wrestling. And all of these superhero movies sure feel like wrestling to me. And why would you, right? And The Rock has it on his contracts. He doesn't lose fights. He has it in a bunch of other contracts in those Fast and Furious movies. Him and, right, they have to bring in like a John Cena to lose in those movies. This feels, why would you not set this up to go multiple movies? Why would you not tease something like this? And the last thing that I think that the last regime failed, in the Suicide Squad movies, is they set up all of this nonsense that was never paid off, and it made those movies feel disconjunctive and not connected. And it didn't matter if you saw them. And in fact, I would say that was true of the last Justice League movie until we got the director's cut version of it.
Yeah, and then you're like, "Oh, I get it now." Oh, right. God. Yeah.
Right. So same thing here. So let's assume that they shot these scenes in the Cloak of Night. Does that mean if Henry Cavill shows up in Shazam 2, then like this is a go?
100%. If Henry shows up, and to me, the way I see it is if anybody shows up in Henry's suit, that means that the new admin is not going to fire Henry. Because why would they tease his specific costume unless they're trying to get Henry back? Because if they were just going to reboot Superman, change the freaking costume.
Right.
Don't use Henry's costume. Simple as that.
And I wonder if we team up and do a 3-hour, another Batman Superman movie, but this time they are, 100%. The whole movie is Batman and Superman in the room the entire time.
Yeah, and just do it like the old World's Finest cartoon. Joker steals a nuke and some kryptonite, and Lex Luthor is paying for him to do it, and Batman is like, "I'm the detective," and Superman's like, "I can't stop the nuke unless I know where the nuke is. I need you to help me find it." And he's like, "Let's do this, brother." And they high five like an 80s wrestling movie, like, "Hell yeah, brother," like something like that. Like, I'm ready for that.
Totally down for that.
Down for that.
I would also be down if we then if either Batman happens first or Superman happens first, have one of those other characters be part of maybe a B plot or something in the middle of the movie, but it's not their movie, which was my problem with Batman v Superman, that there wasn't more Batman. I told you after I saw the director's cut of that movie, I was like, they really needed Ben Affleck needed his own Batman movie. He needed to complete telling that story. Like
TJ is saying, they need to have that Predator handshake where they like lock their arms. Their jacked arms are like so friggin' jacked that it's like, oh my God, I can feel the testosterone. Like that's what I want.
Henry Cavill's in good shape, minus whatever COVID did to his body. Ben Affleck's in happy shape, so he's got to.
But he's also in good shape too, and people tend to forget that Ben Affleck is bigger than Henry Cavill. Like,
sure,
Ben Affleck is like 6'4", and when he gets jacked, he's actually taller and bigger than Superman. So
I'm not here to get into a physical altercation with him. I don't want any beef with him. I don't care what his body looks like. I'm just saying they make them look crazy in these movies.
Yeah,
these movies. Nobody looks like that, everybody. A studio has to pay you to look like that. You got to do a lot to look like that.
Yeah. But no, so, and let's get back to the Ben stuff, because like I said, bottom line is I think Henry getting sick was very coincidental, and I think it did kind of add some evidence to the fact that there is definitely something happening, especially when a big trade talks about how Henry was supposed to show up. Trades don't run rumors unless they're coming from credible sources.
Right.
So either A,
and
they
by
were
credible
lied to.
sources, right? They like talk to his people, like his
Yeah,
actual representation.
Either A, they were flat out lied to by someone credible, or B, it was supposed to happen, and then Henry got sick and they had to back out and pretend like it didn't happen. One of the two. One of the two.
Do you think at Comic-Con they had 2 trailers? They had a trailer that if he showed up, and we got the trailer where he doesn't show up?
I think that the trailer that they had was the one that they had prepared, but I think what they probably had was a video message of Henry popping up on screen saying, "Hey everyone, I'm back," and then talking about how much he loves being Superman. And then they couldn't teleconference him in because he was sick. That's probably what happened.
Do you think then? Do you feel like then, with some of the reshoots that happened on the Flash, do you think that both? I mean, both of them are in the Flash. I'm assuming.
So we'll get into that in a second.
Okay.
So, as I said, we're going to talk about spoilers because the big spoilers is before I jump into what his scene is in Aquaman, I want to talk about another big development that happened this past week.
Nothing changed.
Alan Horn, he was an old producer, a big high up at Warner Brothers, who then went to Disney, is now back as a supervising asset for Warner Brothers Discovery. And not only that, rumors have indicated that he has actually been supervising Zaslav since the beginning on what to do. Mind you, this guy, Alan Horn, loves Ben. He's been in great relationships with Ben for years on several movies, including The Town, including I honestly the only thing I can think of is The Town right now because it's on the screen, but he's been a huge factor to Ben.
Was he behind Argo?
I believe he was. That was the other one I was thinking of.
Okay.
He was also instrumental in having Batman Begins happen in the first place.
And one of the things that you told me very early on about the Discovery purchase of Warner Brothers is they sat everybody down and said, "How come you guys scared all the good directors away?"
Yeah,
and
like,
Ben Affleck
what happened?
Ben Affleck has a very good record of his passion projects being received very well, and he was supposed to do some Batman movie, and very clearly he did not want to deal with the management, and he ran away from all those projects.
Yeah, and I think people tend to mix up the fact that Ben told everyone the stock answer, the PR answer, that he was having a hard time, he didn't like the script, and he moved on. And that was the PR answer. Well, the real reason was that he did not like the management, and did not like what they did to Zach, and did not want to be a part of that situation. That's what happened. Now that all of these clowns have been fired, I don't see anything stopping him from coming back. And so much so that just a few days after Alan Horn was announced as coming back, we found out that Ben was on set for Aquaman 2. The timing of that is amazing. But also, people tend to forget that Alan Horn is friends with Zack Snyder. There were rumors that he was even the guy that gave Zack Snyder the Aston Martin that Ben drove in Batman. Like, there is so many positive aspects to Alan Horn being involved that just point at maybe this is great news. Maybe this is, even if it turns out to be nothing, the fact that he's there basically trying to fix those bridges is a huge deal. If the Snyderverse doesn't get restored, then at least those burned bridges are unburned. That's a huge thing because that means we could potentially see Zack Snyder make another Warner Brothers movie. Yeah, and that's fantastic.
And it means that they're in the building.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's doing voiceovers. He's showing up on set and putting on the costume and going, I really like hanging out with this Jason Momoa guy. And it's like, yo, we just talked about a Superman Batman movie. Yo, give me an Aquaman Batman movie. Give me a movie where Aquaman comes to the Batcave and he goes, hey, someone stole my son. Someone stole this person. And it's like, just take it. Just take it with Aquaman and Batman. And like,
I have a very specific set of skills.
And with that skill, Batman's like, I kill people. Well, I don't kill people. I almost kill people.
Involuntary manslaughter is what I thrive in.
I push people off buildings and then they kind of just flail for a little bit in the air.
They threaten to kill themselves and I say, doesn't matter to me. Just do it. I didn't do it, but they, I was part, no, but the joke is Ben's Batman has been the resulting factor of a lot of deaths on screen. Yes. However, that was the point, because Zack himself even said the story arc for Batman is that this Batman felt powerless because Superman existed. And because Superman existed, he became an extremist.
Guys, you have to listen to Taylor's logic. In the Batman v Superman director's cut, in all the scenes in the Batcave,
Alfred is chewing him out for it.
Alfred says, "You've been doing this a really long time," and Batman's like, "We did it the other way. Look at what happened when I didn't do these things. Look what happened to the world." And I said this. We need a break. We need the Breaking Bad Batman movie. We need the movie where the Robin gets busted open and dies in front of him, and we see what happened.
Batman snap. Like he's like,
right. Because
following
this
the
Batman
rules led to my buddy dying.
He's crazy. This Batman made a javelin of kryptonite to kill Superman.
Yeah, realistically, it's pretty nuts. But no, so aside from that, the scene in Aquaman that Ben came in to replace Michael Keaton, because initially Aquaman 2 was supposed to take place after The Flash. And
do you think that's why the Batgirl rumor, why that all got the kibosh and why this is all happening now?
That's part of it.
Ooh.
So, when The Flash and Aquaman got delayed, they swapped release dates. Aquaman is now coming out first. Flash is coming out second. One of the things that has been revealed was that obviously Ben did not have to show up. He did not have to come back for these films. He didn't have to come back for these scenes. They could have just cut them out. Right. There were supposed to be two scenes. One scene where Michael Keaton's Batman tries to recruit Arthur, and another scene where like they finalize the deal kind of a thing. Those scenes are pointless now, because now that this is still part of that same canon, he's going to basically have two scenes with Batman, and Batman's going to be involved in the plot somehow. Right. But when I say that he's not a huge character in the movie, you're not going to see Batman suit up and swimming with Aquaman. You're going to see essentially kind of what we got in the first Suicide Squad movie, where like you got to like just two scenes as Bruce Wayne, but they're going to be like more than 2 minutes long.
Bruce Wayne's going to give him this is the scene. Bruce Wayne's going to give him a hard drive, and he's like, "I can't get this in Atlantis." And he's like, "Are you sure you want to know this? Because once you know this, there's no going back." And he's like, "I got to know." It's going to be something like that. It's going to be
like Black Adam is doing this. I need to find out where he is. And Batman's like, shows up. "I have satellites that found him for you. You're welcome." And like,
right.
just, yeah.
100%.
Like using their friendships is what they are. Right. So that's 100% what it's going to be. And
I'll take it one step further. I bet we see a little boy in the background doing backflips, and you hear him go, "You got to do it better. Do it. No. 100 push-ups now." I mean, that's what you use these things for, right? Yeah. Why not set up whatever the bigger idea of what we're doing here?
Yeah. I mean, that would be fun. Like, just like, and even just like a throwaway comment, like, "Where is your mother? I swear to God." Like, oof. And then Alfred's like, "She left him with you. It is your problem now. Go be a dad." Like,
oh, see, I always go to Dick Grayson Robin, but that's a good Robin too.
Dick Grayson's already dead in this world, so like that's how I would do it. Yeah. But either way, obviously none of that's going to happen because that's just insane.
None of it.
But now that this movie's coming out first, we had The Flash coming out, and The Flash, Ben Affleck had a pretty big role in this movie. He was the major part of the first story arc, first chapter of the movie. He's the one who basically tells Barry that if I had your powers, I would go back and save my mother, and kind of plants that seed in his head to cause him to mess up the universe. Apparently, the movie's going to start with him getting his new suit from Bruce. They're going to go on like a mission together. There's going to be some situation happening at a hospital, and a bunch of babies are going to get thrown out the window, and Flash is going to run up the side of the building and catch them all. And it's going to be like this really cinematic Batman and Flash team up sequence.
They're going to do it like Bryan Singer does who's the director?
Like Quicksilver stuff, probably.
The Quicksilver stuff. You know what's so funny is those movies, there are such great scenes in those Fox X-Men movies. Those movies don't hold up, but in every movie, there's centerpieces that are just like great. And the Quicksilver stuff was so good.
Seriously. Speaking of, if you get a chance to watch Days of Future Past, the road cut, miles ahead better than the original cut.
Oh, really?
Like 20 minutes of footage that fixes all the plot holes that I had with that movie. Bryan Singer should have been allowed to make that movie to begin with. But I have issues with Bryan Singer and his hate of the X-Men franchise while he tried to make it better.
I have problems with Bryan Singer as a human being. He is a predator.
Terrible human being.
Yeah, he's a real big POS. Yeah.
Yeah. But aside from all that, the biggest part was that this movie, the Flash movie, was going to end with Flash creating a new timeline. Superman didn't exist in that timeline. His Batman didn't exist. Michael Keaton was the Batman there. Sasha Calle's Supergirl was going to be the super person in that new timeline. And it's going to result in there's going to be two sequences that have been talked about in all these leaks, these footages of all the press the test screenings. One, Aquaman meets Barry, runs over to meet Aquaman, and then Aquaman, he's like, "Have you seen Superman? I can't find him anywhere." And Aquaman's like, "Who the hell's Superman?" And he's like, "What do you mean? Where is he?" And that's kind of like set up the fact that Barry now needs to find a way to bring Superman back, right? Second one was Barry's at his apartment. Portal opens up behind him. Batman is standing in the portal in front of like a Wayne Enterprises facility where they basically ripped a hole through this multiverse. And he basically is like, "The crisis is coming. Barry, you need to find us. It is coming. We have to prepare." So they were going to set up the Crisis on Infinite Earths as their big movie. And to prepare that even more, that's where Batgirl, that's where Supergirl, that's where Blue Beetle, all these other projects were going to line up and be a part of this new timeline while they set up this big crossover movie where they erase everything and reboot the universe. Right? So aside from all that, now that we have Batgirl ended, done, gone, and
gone. The article
gone.
said that they got rid of everything, and
Yeah,
they said usually studios
they're shelving the project to a point where this project now no longer will ever see the light of day. It's going the way that the Fantastic Four 90s movie went, where it was made, it's done, it's there, the cut exists, it's going to be in a box somewhere. It's going to be that way until someone decides to do it.
Taylor, it was shot and it's in a box?
It's done. It's gone.
Wow.
Yep. But that's a whole other show. So I think for the bottom line that I want to bring up in this one, Alan Horn is back. Cavill is closer to being Superman again than he ever has been. And some people say he has already signed a new deal. Some people says that he's never signing a deal. That's up to debate. Very future. We'll see what happens. Henry is not up to debate anymore. We know he wants to be Superman.
Right. If he comes back for one of the movies and in one of these portals or other universes we get a new Superman, does that mean he probably has to finish out the projects he's working on before he can come back?
Possibly. Or it just means that they didn't give him the deal that he wanted and he's playing hardball and they're going to keep gaslighting the fans until they get what they want. But
leak Batgirl. Hashtag leak Batgirl. If you have the ability to do this, somebody leaked documents from the Supreme Court. We got to be able to get this uploaded on the internet. Somebody's got to get this out here.
But I think the bottom line that I want to say on this show, before we get into the Batgirl show, because I have lots of stuff to talk about Batgirl.
I didn't even know.
But we're going to probably take a few minute hiatus because apparently an electrician just showed up at my house. So I have to go say hi, shake hands, and tell him what to fix. But Ben did not have to come back for Aquaman. He could have just said, I'm not doing it. And then they just cut the scenes out. But he chose to come back. That's a good thing. That means that all the other people that were keeping him from wanting to come back are now gone. And he was willing to fly halfway around the world to do 5 minutes of footage.
He could have been drunk on a boat, married to J-Lo, sleeping somewhere in the ocean, but he came back to put back on the cow. Yeah, yep. I think that there's more. I think
there's a lot more. And the fact that Zach now is back on the studio lot doing voices for cartoons, doesn't matter.
Yep.
In the middle of his first look deal with Netflix, first look deals are complicated. He is not allowed to talk to another studio about anything, director-wise, producer-wise, anything, until that deal is over. And that deal is not over until the middle of next year. So the fact that he's on the set, he's there, even doing voice work, means that they want him there.
Right.
So that's good sign. But what does that mean for everything else? That's what I'm going to talk about in the Batgirl show, because the Batgirl show, there's a lot going on, a lot to unpack with the announcement for today. There's a lot of stuff.
But we'll save that for another episode.
And we say that like we're going to waste a week. No, I have to spend 10 minutes to go talk to somebody, and I'll be right back. We will reconvene in 10 minutes.
Well, no, did you want to do the card? You do the cards. You like to do the cards. Are you okay? Okay.
So thank you, everyone, for supporting us on this. If you want to support us, go to patreon.com/theculturednerd. Definitely get involved if you want to help us keep the lights running and keep the shows coming. Thank you, all of our current Patreons, for everything you do. Again, my name is Taylor Murphy. I have been your host. The co-host, Michael Santel, is energetic as ever.
I'm always too much energy for the internet. Internet can't handle people that are happy.
Yeah, apparently everyone thinks that you do a line of coke before we start the shows, but that's just
Nope.
who you are as a
Nope.
human being.
This is just
I don't
who I've
want to know
been
what you're like on drugs.
every day of my life. I don't do cocaine. I've never done cocaine. Cocaine scares me.
Yeah.
I won't do it.
Don't do it. Don't.
I won't
But
do it.
thank you all for joining us. We will be back in 10 to 15 minutes tops. The final show was slated to start at 7 o'clock and at 6:42. So I have 18 minutes, but I'll probably be less than that. So thank you all for joining us. Talk to you all very soon as we talk about Batgirl and what is going on with that movie.
Bye, cool cats.